Everybody, today we're going to see how to play game Catan. So initially first we'll see the board setup, and what we can first do is we can set up our outer boundary. How do you set up the outer boundary? Just arrange these cardboard pieces with the numbers given, and you will be able to create the outer boundary. Post that, we will have to basically set the resources. So how you can do this is two ways. One is either you randomly do it, right now I'm doing it randomly, or there are a lot of apps that will help you to set up Catan boards, so you can use them as well. So once you have set up your board, you might have to put in these digits on it. So again, the same thing, one, either you do it randomly or we can do it through the app. So once you basically set up everything, we are now ready to play this game. One thing to be noticed here is this is basically a desert land, and we will have a robber in here. Everywhere else we will have these digits. You might observe that all numbers are repeated twice apart from 2 and 12 because their probability is less. Yes, this dots here says the dice probability of these numbers coming in. So 2 has a very least probability, 11 has a moderate probability, 8 has a lot of probability. 7 2 has a lot of probability, but we do not have 7. Why don't we have 7 and what do we do? I'll explain you that later. Now there are 5 kinds of resources here. If you can see here, this is wood. That would be representing this. You have brick, which would be represented by this. You have sheep. You have hay. And last but not least, you have these bricks. Now what do we do is initially based on the dice. So if there are 4 players playing, everyone will basically roll the dice, and the person who is basically getting a higher number, so if I'm getting 9 and the other person is getting 6 5 4, I would be the first one so to start the game. And what I can do is I can start with placing a settlement. This is called settlement. So I will basically choose a place where I need to keep the settlement, and I have to choose it very wisely here. In this case, the numbers here are basically the probability, and you need to see the maximum resources that you can cover. So this is basically your chart of building resources, of how much resources is being needed to develop each of these things. And if you look at this, wood, clay, hay and sheep are basically used to develop a home or a settlement which has one VP, which is one victory point. So mostly we need all the resources, but wood and clay are something that we need more because it's for both road and settlement, which is required to move forward. So I'll be looking at a place where we have maximum wood and clay, and I guess this looks good, but then the two has a lesser probability, but I'll give a try here. Now that great place, but it's fine. Now once you keep your house, you might have to keep a road as well. Similarly, the other player also have placed their settlement. So imagining this is a 2-player game, so we both would get a chance to keep 2 settlements, and I can keep my 2 settlements and 2 roads. Once both of them's 2 settlements and 2 roads are done, we would be good to start the game. So whichever settlement is basically kept the second one, players would get the cards of those points. So we can start with that. So this was my second settlement, so I would be getting 1 stone, 1 sheep and a hay. Similarly, the color blue's second settlement was this, so they would be getting a sheep and 2 woods. Cool. Now basically we start rolling our dice. So as I roll the dice and I get 4, so whoever has their settlement on 4 will basically be getting the resource from the bank. And we see blue has a resources of wood, so B would be basically getting a wood then. Now this game has a couple of things. So what we basically need to do is build forward, and to build forward we need a wood and a clay. So if I don't have a clay, I can basically trade it. So you can trade it with the opponent, saying that I would be giving you 1 wood, you give me a clay, or vice versa, and the person might raise demands as well. The second type of trading is, this is called peer-to-peer trading. The second type of trading here is trading with the bank, and trading with the bank basically means giving 4 resources of the same to get another 1 resource. So if I'm going to give 4 wood, the bank would give me 1 clay. That's a very bad trading because we are losing 4 woods there. The third type of trading we have is with the ports. So if basically anyone has their settlement here in the ports, we'll basically have an advantage of the port. That means they can exchange with the bank, but only the stone in 2:1 ratio. So they would be giving 2 stones and getting 1 of any card they want. Similarly, you have 3:1 with a question mark. That means any card, but they should be same: 3 wood, 3 clay, 3 stone, like that. Similarly, 2:1 of hay. Different resources, 2:1 is there. Apart from that, the rule of 7 is, as in any person rolls in 7. Okay, so all the person basically will be checked for number of cards they have, and if they have more than 7, the number of cards would reduce to half. And if not, the person who is getting 7 has a privilege to pick up the robber and block. So the blue has got 7 and blue has blocked me on the 6. So next time when 6 comes, I cannot take any resource until I unblock it and keep it anywhere else. Okay, apart from that, we have something called development card. If you purchase a development card, it can be anything. And you see, this is monopoly. Monopoly means you basically can ask for any resource, and everyone with that resource will have to give you that card. Similarly, you have a couple of cards in a development cards where you can get victory points as well. Now, how do you calculate points? The main motto of the game is getting 10 points, and you would calculate points basically by looking at the settlements. So right now I have 2 points, blue has 2 points, but hasn't you go ahead, you can get more points. Now, how do you place in more roads in future? To place more roads in future, basically what you will have to do is you have to make sure that between two settlements they have to be 2 roads. You cannot place a road between a settlement and a road. There should be 2 roads in minimum. In this case, you have 2 roads and 2 settlements, and you can keep a road here and keep a settlement here, but you see there's another settlement next here, so this settlement cannot be done. So you might have to keep another road here to keep another settlement here. So just make sure there cannot be a settlement next to settlement. There should be a 2 road difference in between. This is how you do. And you have something called city. City giving 2 hay and 3 stones. So once you get a city, so once I give back the cards of city, I can replace my settlement with a city. And now what happens is, as person rolls 2, instead of getting 1 wood, I would be getting 2 wood. If a person rolls 5, I'll be getting 2 clays instead of 1. Also, your victory points doubles. So your resources doubles, your victory point doubles. This is the advantage of putting a settlement there. So we basically have to keep expanding our territory. The another 2 ways of getting points are longest route. The longest continuous route gets 2 points, and a largest army gets 2 points. So longest means having 5 plus roads, and largest army means basically having more than 3 plus knight cards. You get these knight cards from the development deck that you have. Which is basically hidden. The cards that you are getting, that would be secret to you, and you may not show it to others. You might keep it to yourself. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.